Hey, what's up, beautiful people? And today, as you can probably tell from the title, we are reacting to Wall-E explained by an idiot, and an idiot is watching this, and he's running out of breath right now. But I honestly need you guys to tell me if you liked Hell of a Boss reaction, because there are no dislikes, there are no likes, so I kind of need your help in, saying if you would like me to react to that, or at the very least you wouldn't mind if I reacted to another one. But hope you guys enjoy. Bambi, you ready? Wall-E is one of my biggest, most favorite movies of all time, so I'm excited for this one. And without further ado, make sure to like, sub, comment, and all that good stuff. And without further ado again, let's get into it. Nostalgia.
Welcome to Wall-E.
Oh, hell yeah.
The planet is trash.
Trash.
That planet
Let's
Earth
get
is
it.
literally trash. Well, not literally. It's covered in garbage, okay? And it's too toxic to live on, so humans were forced to abandon ship and go live in space on these big massive spaceships produced by a company called Benil. And they left behind a bunch of robots called Wall-E's to clean up the
That's
place
a huge
so they can
theory
come back
by
in 2 years'
itself.
time and fix up Earth. Now all these Wall-E's are dead except for one, our main boy Wall-E here. He's still kicking, cleaning up the Earth for our ungrateful asses with his little cockroach buddy. And he survived all this time by hiding from dust storms and a bigger Wall-E and taking replacement parts from other non-functioning Wall-E's. So he's basically living inside his fallen brothers and stealing their body parts. I don't know why I was so compelled to point that out. So he goes home where he keeps a...
So if you really think about it, for whatever reason, Wall-E is the only one that didn't die out because, honestly, no one really knows. But he's the last one, so that automatically means he's like the biggest alpha male Chad that there ever was. Because he's literally the only thing living on that planet as we know from the entire movie. So good for you, Wall-E. Good for you.
Bunch of shit that interests him.
You
and
deserve
deposits some more
your
interesting
fallen
stuff that
brother's
he found on
parts,
his
'cause you
day.
outlived
And
them
that
all.
is some bullshit right there because there's no way he found just 6 spoons and 7 forks throughout all these years. Anyway, he's playing a random old movie and we find out that our boy Wall-E here is looking for love. He's looking for some McLovin, baby. He lonely, you know. Then a dust storm hits him and he closes the door, goes to sleep, wakes up next morning with a super low battery level, so he goes to charge himself up from the sun, then heads off to work after nearly killing his only friend. So he at work compacting some trash and finding some random shit that he wants to take home with him, and then he finds a plant. So he digs it out of the ground and puts it in a shoe to take home with him. How he knew to do that and not just rip it out the fucking ground, I don't know. In fact, now that I think about it, how the fuck does a plant even grow inside a fridge? They know sunlight in there. So he goes home and he finds a red dot, and apparently he has a built-in cat module or some shit because he runs after that dot. And as it turns out, that dot is a landing marker for one of Elon Musk's fancy self-landing rockets. Then he digs a hole to the ground and buries himself to avoid burning to death from the fucking flaming rocket. Then the rocket opens up and releases, wait for it, an egg. Then it fucks off, and once again, so he doesn't burn to death, he hides himself in the ground. Which honestly, I don't think he should have survived this or the one before. There's just no way he can dig a hole deep enough to escape the heat of that fucking rocket. And as much as I love this movie, there's just so many occasions where Wall-E just flat out fucking died. So to get that out of the way, I'm going to show them all here right now.
No. Damn. No. Get it.
Now back to the egg, and it's scanning the place looking for something, and it will kill anything that moves. Okay, I understand that they're playing on the gag that cockroaches can survive a nuclear blast and shit, but I'm pretty sure by that they mean the radiation, not the blast itself. This thing should be dead, right? Anyway, the egg also attempts to murder Wall-E.
Brother, nobody knows the power of a cockroach.
That Wall-E is not a threat. That, however, does not stop Wall-E from looking at her like, I'ma tap that ass. So the egg keeps scanning shit while ignoring Wall-E, who's being a creepy stalker right now. Then it gets frustrated because it ain't find what it came looking for. And after getting stuck in a magnet, it blows up and destroys 5 oil tankers. Wall-E sees this and he decides
did BNL just own the entire world? I'm assuming that's what happened because even in the presidential speech, BNL had to be some sort of entire country, or didn't it stand for big and large, or I have no idea, but they seem to run the entire world, especially when their flag is also in a broadcast system set for the president at the end of the world speech.
Now is the time for him to shoot his shot, baby. He's going for it. And he finds out that her name is Eva. That's right, it's a she, I think. I don't know. Then a dust storm hits and Wall-E decides to take her back to his pad for safety. I'd say this is going perfectly for Wall-E so far. So he takes her home and the crazy ass bitch tries to blow a hole through his wall, and he shows her some of the stuff in his interesting collection of random shit. Then he shows her the movie from earlier and tries to teach her how to fucking dance. But this crazy asshole nearly ruins his house and almost kills him. Listen, my guy, I know you're lonely, but this one crazy ass bitch, dude. Anyway, she only busts his eye up up and he goes over to his stuff and gets a replacement part and fixes himself easy. He tries to hold her hand and she's like, nah. She sees the hand holding part in the movie and he shows her one last thing, the plant. And it turns out that the plant is exactly what she's looking for. So she sucks it up and shuts down. And Wally's like, the fuck just happened? And he's super concerned, so he tries to turn her back on to no avail. Then he cares for her.
I know it's too late for this joke to hit, but I was gonna be like, I'm getting a lot of Johnny Depp vibes.
And then goes on dates with her unconscious body, the usual. Till one day he decides to go back to work, and on that day, Elon Musk's rocket comes back to take Eva. So he rushes back and tells his buddy to stay put while he hangs on for dear life while they exit the trash-filled atmosphere and travel through space till they get to the Axiom, which is the main and biggest human colony spaceship place in space colony for people.
Right?
Yeah, sounds about right. The rocket docks inside the spaceship and lines up a bunch of Evas.
So were there multiple of these ships or just one?
Wally keeps annoying. Then the 5-0 takes Wally's Eva because she got the plant. So he follows her and leaves a trail of muddy tracks behind him. And the main cleaning robot really wants to clean it, but he has to stay on a predetermined line. So he's like,
disrespect your surroundings!
Oh, that's it? Bro, I was ready to throw down.
Starts cleaning up the tracks, but he does not start from the beginning. Fucking idiot. So while he's still following Eva, he fucks with traffic, then he gets his first glimpse of the modern human, who are basically fat blobs of mass stuck to their hover chairs with their eyes glued to the screens of their infotainment systems, completely oblivious to their surroundings.
Sounds like just blobfishes.
So one of the fat fucks gets knocked over, and Wally helps him up. Then he gets on a train that Eva's on, and he tries to get to her, but this fat bitch is in the way, so he's like, hey, lady, woman, oh shit, yeah, hi, I'm Wally. Can you please move out the fucking way? I'm trying to get to my girl. Thank you. So the 5-0 escort Wally and Eva to the captain's headquarters, and as it turns out, humans fucked up the Earth so bad that they spent 700 years in space. And their bone density right now is basically non-existent because they spent so long in microgravity. However, they made it pretty goddamn obvious.
I've always liked the little concept that, like, they'd always use, like, real humans for, like, videos or stuff and, all that type of stuff while everything else was animated. I don't know why. I just really like that touch.
Artificial gravity, so this shouldn't happen. This doesn't make any sense. I am confusion. Anyhow, now that there's finally signs of life,
and how are there no video games?
So they start up Eva, and while this
I know it's been 700 years, but they would have left in like 2000s, right? Got some like
Then the captain figures out that they have to put a plant in some plant activation chamber thing that will activate the let's go home protocol, that's what I'm calling it. So they open up Eva and they find nothing. Plant's gone. And the captain's like, well, I guess we ain't going nowhere, and thinks that Eva is a defective robot, so he sends her to get fixed. Then he gets startled by Wally, and Wally's like, sup, I'm Wally. Nice to meet you, and here's some dirt. So the captain also orders for Wally to be cleaned. Eva and Wally get to the robot fixing place, and they start running diagnostics on Eva, I think. But that's not what it looks like to Wally. He thinks they're torturing her. So he frees himself and then goes to free Eva, and then accidentally frees all the fucked up robots in the place, who praise him because he freed them. And they run wild with him in the streets till they get stopped by the Popo, who deem Eva and Wally...
If you think about it, the movie would have been over in like 2 seconds if Wally aimed the mechanical arm 1 inch to, I think, to his right, because that would have been his head.
The fugitives of the law. So Eva takes Wally to an escape pod so she can send him back to Earth, but then the fuzz shows up with the plant, and they want to send it off into space and blow it up using the pod's self-destruct mechanism. And Wally's like, hey Eva, check it out, the plant! So Wally accidentally gets launched out with a plant, and Eva goes after him while he freaks out and tries to get out the fucking pod, but he explodes and dies. Psych! He does not die. My boy Wally made it out in time with a fire extinguisher, and he flies over to Eva. And not only did he live, but he also got the plant with him, baby, and Eva is
I kind of feel like the plant should have died.
So she hugs him, and their heads...
I'm not really sure what a plant life can be in
but he likes it. Then they fly out in space and have some fun, because they ain't in no rush, they ain't no deadline on this shit. They get back on the ship, and all the while Wally just really wanted to hold her hand like in the movie. But she's hyper-focused on getting that plan up to the captain. So she tells him to stay put while she goes up to trash shoot to the captain, who has been binge-watching videos about Earth ever since he analyzed the dirt that Wally put in his hand. The captain takes the plant and puts a projector thing on Eva's head to see what Earth is like right now.
His
and
main
he finds
thing
out
like
that it is, as I said before, garbage. So he's like, we have to go back and care for Earth and fix it up and shit. While Eva gets to see how Wally cared for her when she was shut off, and it is cute as fuck. Then the autopilot comes down to take the plan away from the captain, because it is revealed that a few years after the Axiom took off, the president of Benin, or the president of America, whatever, I don't care, some dude sent a message saying that the Earth is too fucked to come back and it's way too toxic, never come back. And he basically left and he basically left the ship, and he basically left the ship in charge of the autopilot. But now obviously it's not that toxic because boom, plant. But the autopilot don't care, so he gets the police to throw the plant down the trash chute. But lo and behold, everybody, because Wally's clap.
I know the autopilot or Otto is supposed to be the bad guy, but technically he's not really too much of a bad guy because he's just following the programming and protocol that he was, his entire purpose was meant to be. So Yeah.
Going up the trash chute, and he tries to keep the plan away from the autopilot while Eva is held back by the police. But the autopilot electrocutes him, and somehow, although he was literally struck by lightning twice before and came out fine, this damages him. Fuck logic. Anyway, Wally gets thrown out of the trash and they turn off Eva and throw her down the lift. So a little while later, we cut to the garbage dump where Eva gets rebooted by mice. What the fuck are those things? Eva and Wally get trash compacted by bigger Wallies, but this time they're Wallas because they're on the axiom, and the E in Wally stands for Earth, and these are unimportant details. Why am I talking about this? Moving on, because they're about to get thrown into space. I thought it was just because they were that big. Stupid little cleaning robot that was so insistent on cleaning his tracks. Well, that's one persistent stupid little cleaning robot because he found Wally and he wants his ass. So he sprints over to the airlock doors and wedges himself in there, and with the help of the bigger Wallas, Eva and Wally get saved. Now throughout all of this I have just one question. How the fuck do you find materials for anything on the ship if you throw out this much trash? So Wally's got some sort of fucked circuit
Don't worry about it, my friend. Movie logic.
board or some shit, which means he's dying. Hold up, that's the damage? Man, Wally shouldn't even be functional. I can stick my finger through that shit. And Eva is worried as fuck, scouring the trash looking for replacement parts that all won't work. So Wally hands her the plant so she can put it in the plant chamber return thing so they can go back to planet Earth. But she's like, nah, let's hold hands. Bitch, I'm dying here. Ain't no time for that shit. We gotta go back to planet Earth and find me some replacement parts, dumbass. So that finally clicks in her head and they bust out of there and they fuck up the police with the help of the defective robots. The captain fights the autopilot and he opens up the plant chamber go home thing. They even want to fly over to that thing so they can put the plant in it, but last second the autopilot tilts the entire ship to the side, preventing them from doing that and knocking the plant out of their hands. And I don't even know why this is a feature in the ship. I mean, you're standing still in fucking space. Why do you need to do this? Why is this an option? Anyway, Eva sets Wally down and goes to look for the plant, but then gets occupied by saving a bunch of people from a falling train. Then the autopilot presses the button that closes the plant hatch, but feeble little Wally's there and he's trying to hold the hatch open with all his might. Then the autopilot presses the button hard, and as we all know, pressing the button harder is 100% effective in getting the thing done better. And the hatch closes harder and it wedges Wally and destroys him, and all our hearts fucking sink. But then the captain stands up. I don't know how. He has celery sticks for bones in his legs, but that doesn't matter. He stands up and he turns off the autopilot, levels the ship. Eva puts the plant through the gap in the plant thing and sees the extent of Wally's damage, and he's fucked. Then they hyper jump back to Earth. They get there. Eva takes Wally and she zooms over to his house and finds replacement parts and tries to fix him up as fast as he can. She's performing open heart surgery on this motherfucker at supersonic speeds. Then she blasts a hole through his roof so he can charge via solar panels, which, like, why? Just take him up to the roof. Why do you have to fucking blow up my man's house like that? Come on, dude. Anyway, he charges up and turns on, and he does not recognize her. She's gone, man. There's no more Wally. The lights are on, but no one's home. So she tries to jog his memory with some of his old stuff, but it doesn't work, man. He just compacts, and that's one strong light bulb. What the fuck? Doesn't matter. He goes out and finds some more trash to compact, and then she goes over one last time to try and shake it out of him, but nothing. So she holds his hand and rests her head against his, and then that little spark happens, and I still have no clue what it does or what it means, but I sure as hell don't give a fuck because it brought Wally back, baby! And the movie ends with humans being able to rebuild the Earth and all that fun jazz, but who cares, really? The important thing here is Wally. Wall's all good. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Anybody who hates this movie can suck a dick. I don't even care. 10 out of 10.
Same for me. If this movie isn't a 10 out of 10 for me, I'm not gonna say anything profanic, but, you know, what he said. But I actually do have a theory on that, on why Wally came back that last second when the spark happened. Hold on one second. Okay, so we all know that Eva and Wally have the spark thing, right? But Eva doesn't have any ports of herself. Like, there's no charging port, there's no USB port, there's no any type of ports, right? So they have to. So she has to, you know, be able to transmit memory somehow for herself and for whatever, right? Besides the extra machine parts. So when that happens, so the first time when the spark happens, right? They sparked, Wally went out into space, but no, he was actually buffering. He floated back, and then he got back up. But when the spark happened, it got all the memory of Wally had, and then transmitted to Eva. And then when the second spark happened, Eva transmitted all the memory back from the same spark that happened, because if you notice quite slightly, on the first one, the spark looks like it's coming from Wally's end, and then the second spark comes from Eva's end. Haha, bet you didn't know that. But I'm not even sure that theory is even feasible or true. And that's just a theory. A film theory. But, Bambi, how'd you like it? She enjoyed it immensely. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely know I did. And make sure to do all the stuff I said in the beginning. You know, like, sub, comment, and all that good stuff. And without further ado, see you in the next.